In this video, we're going to be looking at the question, is being a mortgage advisor a good career choice in the UK? My name is Ash Borland. I'm a mortgage business coach, and I've been lucky enough to help countless mortgage advisors streamline their success. If you are new to this industry and you're thinking about getting into the industry, then please do check out my playlist, Becoming a Broker, and all the videos there that help you specifically. So in this video, we're going to be covering understanding the role of a mortgage advisor. We're going to look at why being a mortgage advisor could be a great career choice. We'll talk about the challenges and the skills and traits, the steps to becoming an advisor. The ultimate goal for this video is for you to have all the information you want in order to make the next steps and potentially take that career leap. So let's jump into the first thing, which is understanding the role of a mortgage advisor. What does a mortgage advisor actually do? A mortgage advisor arranges mortgages for people. They work between a lender and the client. Sometimes referred to as a mortgage advisor, sometimes referred to as a mortgage broker. All of these things mean the same thing. That's effectively what a mortgage advisor does in a nutshell. Now, 70% of UK mortgages are arranged through intermediaries, which means through mortgage brokers and mortgage advisors. They play a crucial role in the housing market and can be a great career choice. So if you ever hear someone say that it's a dying industry, that's not the case at all. Vast majority of mortgages are still done through mortgage advisors. Mortgage advisors help people navigate through this process and make sure that everything runs smoothly, not just from a mortgage perspective, but also from managing the client's expectations, helping them actually purchase a property. There's so much more involved with it than just getting the mortgage itself. If you take into account that 1.2 million property transactions took place in 2023, there is a huge demand for people who need help, and mortgage advisors and mortgage brokers are perfectly placed to be able to help those individuals. Let's talk about the reasons why being a mortgage advisor can be a great career choice for some people. As mentioned earlier, there is still a high demand for mortgage advice with so many property transactions taking place and a large portion of those being done through mortgage advisors and mortgage brokers. There is a huge demand, which relative stability within the job role is a great thing to look for in any career. The other thing you have is earning potential. Mortgage advisors and mortgage brokers can make really good money. So starting salaries for employed advisors is ranging anywhere from 22 to 50,000, depending on where they go, with experienced advisors earning up to 70,000 or more through commission-based income. When you actually take into account the majority of mortgage advisors are self-employed, then the income potential is through the roof. Roughly around 25% of mortgage advisors specialize in something, so some form of buy-to-let, equity release. They maybe go into NHS. That allows them to niche their services very, very heavily. I've worked with many clients in different niches, and the income earning opportunities from that are amazing. I also think it's a very fulfilling job role, and many mortgage advisors I speak to say that they find the job massively impactful. They feel like they're helping people, they're guiding people, and they see a real benefit in their work. I think that if you're somebody who wakes up every single day wanting to help people, wanting to solve problems, this can be a great career choice for you too, because that's predominantly the job. If you think it's just numbers and spreadsheets, that's an accountant. That's definitely not a mortgage advisor. A mortgage advisor is heavily more reliant on people and interactions. Now let's jump into the challenges of a career as a mortgage advisor, because it isn't all sunshines and rainbows. One of the challenges that many people find within mortgage advice is that it is a high pressure environment. It really is pretty tough. And if you think about it, the stakes are pretty high. This is people's homes you're dealing with. Emotions come into play here and people will feel vulnerable. It can be very challenging, especially when you factor in market fluctuations and client expectations. All of that stuff can make it a really high pressured role. And I would say when I speak to advisors, 1 in 2 always say that at some point they're going to be stressed. Another challenge we have is regulatory requirements and continuous education. This is something that many people don't really factor in when they first get into the career. Many don't even know, but the FCA mandates that you need 35 hours of CPD, which stands for continuous professional development, annually, every single year. And you have to stay up to date on all the latest regulation changes and some form of training around your job. If you're somebody who's not interested in constantly professionally developing yourself and learning, this career is not that. It's not a get qualified, get the job and off you go. It's constantly trying to be on top of the career so that you know all your information. The final challenge I'd say is the varied work hours. Mortgage advisors and mortgage brokers often work very strange hours. They might work evenings, they might work weekends, unless you have built up a brand and a business around yourself as a self-employed advisor to the point where you can start to control the times and people will see you on your terms. I have quite a few clients who only work 9 to 5. It is possible to get to that point eventually, but at the beginning, you will normally be required to be flexible, and that can be something that many people struggle with. It's not a role that just you clock out and it's done. Let's talk about the skills and traits for a successful mortgage advisor. I alluded to it earlier about this idea of it's not about spreadsheets. I would say that the most important skills needed is that you need to prioritize communication skills. You have to be very good at building trust, communicating with people, and being empathetic. If you're not that way, the job doesn't really work because you then become very unrelatable. The only thing you're really selling as a mortgage advisor is yourself. The industry is highly regulated. most people get access to pretty much everything. They're not picking on the best deal. They're going to pick on the person. Anybody, by the way, who thinks that you're selling the best deal, you'll not do very well. You're selling the fact that you're the best person. You need to be able to deal with people. There's going to be tears, anger, there's going to be stress, there's going to be laughter, there's going to be happiness. All of these things are going to come into play. If you're a people person, you'll do very, very well. If you're not, that can be quite hard. So I'd say that's the number one skill. You also need to be pretty resilient. You need to be able to deal with changes and not get upset or stressed too much, because as I've said earlier, it is a bit of a yo-yo. If you're somebody who internalizes that stress and that pressure, there are better jobs out there for you than this. And then you do need to have an element of attention to detail, because it is a regulated environment. It is financial advice, and it's not just a sales role. If you say something and do something, it causes them some serious problems. So you need to make sure your attention to detail is correct. If you're seen to be wrong, you will be fired or struck off the lender panels. So how do you become a mortgage advisor? On screen, I've got the 4 steps that I would say is part of becoming a mortgage advisor. So the first thing you have to do is your CMAP. Your CMAP is your qualification. It's Certificate for Mortgage Advice. There are others out there, but 80% of mortgage advisors in the UK hold CMAP qualifications. I'm in that 20%, by the way. I don't. I have a different qualification, but it is the most recognized pretty much. I have videos on this channel breaking down different ways on how to study and what to do with that. So please do check those out. You will then have to become a trainee advisor. A trainee advisor role is something you're going to have to take on. This is normally salaried at around £20,000 roughly. They're going to be between 18 and 22. You're not going to get much more than that, I would say, probably more down to the 20,000. And it needs to be aware of this if you're going to go employed, because trainee is a role you have to do. You can't get the third one, which is known as like CAS, which is competent advisor status, without a trainee environment. Once you're trained, your salaries will increase over the years, and you will make significantly more money through your sales of insurances and mortgages. Competent advisor status is what you get once you've gone through your training effectively. And that is where you've been signed off and they believe you're now competent. You're ready to go off on your own, and you now take responsibility for your advice. When you're training, you are obviously taking responsibility for it, but it's being supervised by somebody else. And once it is at competent advisor status, you are now a fully fledged mortgage advisor, mortgage broker. And at this point, you are now off to do your own thing. And then from there, we have the CPD, continuous professional development, is the ongoing part of the job. And with this, you're going to include things like learning how to go to networking events, meeting people, learning about marketing, branding, sales, insurance, the whole lot. If you want to know what a day in the life of a mortgage advisor looks like, then click on this screen right now. And if you've got any questions that you'd like me to answer, please leave them in the comments and subscribe to the channel. See you later.